All right, today we are going to be solving division of fractions with models when we do not have common denominators. So we've done this already with numbers that do have common denominators, but it gets a little bit more tricky when those numbers are different. Okay, for example, let's just kind of define what is a common denominator. Okay, a common means something that's the same. Okay, sorry, my pen's glitching out. A denominator is a bottom number in a fraction. So when we're looking for a common denominator, we want the same bottom number in a fraction. Okay. This is because if we are dividing 7/8 by 2/4 and we want to see how many groups of 2/4 fit into 7/8, you can't make groups of fourths if we're given eighths. Okay, or you can't make groups of ninths, 5/9 if you're given thirds. Okay, if that's what you're starting with. So we have to first make a common denominator. So this front side, we're just going to practice making common denominators. When I'm making a common denominator, I like to look at our smaller number and see if we can get it to be the larger number. I think that's the easiest first step in finding a common denominator is look at the smaller number and see if it can be the larger number. For example, can 4 be an 8? Yes. So our common denominator here would be 8. Here we are looking at 1 1/3 and 5/9. We're looking at our smaller number 3, and we are saying, can a 3 be a 9? Yes, so our common denominator would be 9. Just as a general hint, most of the numbers I'm going to give you are going to be able to make that smaller number into the larger number. It does not matter which number comes first or second when we're making common denominators. We look just at the smaller one to make it larger. Now, technically, you could make a 9 into a 3 by dividing to make it smaller, but here's where we're going to see why that might not be the best choice, because a 5 divided by 3 doesn't really work, right? And we don't get calculators for this, so doing that division and getting a weird decimal isn't going to really help us. So for finding common denominators, I like to always get larger. All right, so we've got 2 1/6, 1 2/3. Common denominator between a 3 and a 6 is going to be a 6. In order to get that 6, we are going to multiply the 3 times 2. And the same thing on the top. We've got 2 1/6 does not change. Our whole number, we do not multiply by 2. The 1 stays the same because we want the exact same amount, just with a different denominator. So it's still 1 whole. And then on the top, we do 2 times 2, 4, 3 times 2, 6. Okay, and that's how we would rewrite our division problem. Then we have something like we've already done where they have the same denominator. All right, common denominator between a 2 and a 4 would be 4 because we do 2 times 2. Our whole number does not change. We still have 5 wholes. Then we do 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2, 4. This second fraction we don't have to change because it already has a denominator of 4. So we leave it as 1 3/4. All right, pause the video, try these two on your own, and then resume the video when you are ready to check. Common denominator here would be 8 because 4 can become an 8 by doing times 2. 7/8 stays the same. Then we are dividing by 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Here, a 3 can become a 9. So our common denominator is 9. To make a 3 into a 9, we do times 3. Whoa. Our 2 stays the same. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 3, 9. Our second fraction in this one's going to stay the same because it is already out of ninths. Okay, so first step for when they do not have a common denominator and we're drawing models is you make a common denominator. So now let's add in the modeling part. Okay, first thing we do is make that common denominator. So a 3 and a 6, a 3 can become a 6, so that is our common denominator. We do times 2. The 1 stays the same. Oops, sorry, we're going to rewrite that up here. The 1 stays the same. 2 times 2 is 4 over 3 times 2 is 6. Second fraction is going to be the same because it's already out of 6. Now we start drawing our model. So we've got 1 and 4 sixths. So we draw one hole. We cut it into sixths, which is 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we have 4 more little sixths as well because we have 1 and 4 sixths. So 1 whole and then 4 of those 6. We are making groups of 4 sixths. So we say 1 6, 2 6, 3 6, 4 6. That's a group. 1 6, 2 6, 3 6, 4 6. That is a group. 1 6, 2 6. How many whole groups can we make? We can make 2 whole groups, and then we have 2 boxes left out of the 4 that we need to make a group. You could technically simplify this answer to 2.5 as well. It would be the same thing. All right. So all we are doing today is adding on that piece of finding a common denominator first. Here we have a 4 and a 2 as our denominators. Can we make a 2 into a 4? Yes. Times 2. First fraction stays the same because it's already got fourths. So we've got 3 and 1/4 divided by 1 stays the same, 1 whole. And then 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Now we go ahead and draw our picture. We're starting with 3 wholes and a 4th. 1 whole, 2, 3. I'm going to have to put my little 4th over here because I ran out of room. Those 3 holes are getting cut into 4ths because we are making groups of 4ths. We are making groups of 1 and 2/4. Now that is hard to think of. Okay, and saying like 1 and 2/4 and then say 1 and 2/4. So we're going to make that an improper fraction by doing 4 times 1 plus 2, which is 6. Denominator stays the same. So we're going to make groups of 6/4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's one group. You can kind of see on the video today how colors might help. So I have crayons. I have color pencils. You can use colors as well when you are doing this. And then there's 1 left over. We can make 2 whole groups. And then we have 1 left out of the 6 that we need to make a group. Okay, we're going to skip over this last one because you'll get plenty of practice today with your homework.